Hi, welcome to MOPS. I am so thankful that everyone's here. Just thank you for being you and for showing up and for making this space such a beautiful time that we get to support each other and encourage each other and be supported by each other. It's really, really special, and it's because of you. So just thank you for showing up and for being here tonight. I know that the world is a lot right now. Nope. I wanted to start off by reading you guys. I wanted to start off by reading you all one of my all-time favorite verses. Here I go. Clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Above all, clothe yourselves in love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. I forgot to write down the reference for that. My bad. It's in Colossians. You can look it up. Okay, so I want to make this all pretty quick because we have so much exciting stuff happening tonight. I want to give us time to do as much of the classes, as many of the classes as y'all want. So I'm going to just speed through this. First announcement. Tonight, no politics, which is hard because I know that a lot of us are thinking about the things going on in the world right now, but we are fiercely protective of this space. And we want to do everything we can to make sure it is a supportive and safe and loving place for us all, and really protect that because it's special. Second announcement. Mandy, most of our classes tonight are pre-recorded, so you and your group leader has all that information. Mandy Foster, who's going to talk to us about feeding issues, hers is live so that folks can ask questions and she can answer them in real time. So her classes, and again, your group leader has this information. Her classes start at 7:30 and 8. So my dogs are like chasing each other around. So that her classes start at 7:30 and 8. So hopefully we can get through all this real quick and you can have plenty of time to jump in. We are all virtual tonight, which is cool, but Sanctuary has decided to go back to meeting in person. So that means we get to go back to meeting in person as well. So next week, in person, folks, you will be in person. If you are an in-person folk, but you're a little bit anxious about it, let me know and we can pop you in with a virtual group, and that's no problem. Our Devo tonight is from the one and only Misty Owen. She works for Sanctuary. Our Devo tonight is the one and only Misty Owen. I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. She does some admin stuff at Sanctuary. She helps Bishop Ed. She coordinates the youth. And she's just like one of my all-time favorite people. I have stress-cried to her more often than I care to admit. So I'm really, really excited for you all to get a chance to get to know her a little bit more. And me not just keep her all to myself. So welcome, Misty. I'm so excited to hear from you. Good night, y'all. Welcome, Misty. I am so excited. Yay.
Hello, ladies of MOPS. I'm Misty Owen, if I wasn't introduced before. I'm very delighted to be here with you guys tonight and honored. It's an honor. For those that don't know me, I have 5 kids. My oldest is 22, then 18, 17, 15, and 13. Oh my gosh, I always forget their ages because it's always changing. Anyways, it hurts them. I just can't. It's hard to remember. My husband and I are pretty much moving into the phase where we're looking forward to being grandparents. It's crazy. It's exciting. My kids hate when I say it. They're like, "Oh, stop!" But anyways, it's fun. They're awesome kids. Love my kids. I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about tonight. The thought that came to me was this, and I knew I needed to speak on it. Motherhood has been one of the most joyful things in my life, although it does not always bring me joy. So, here's what I mean by that. I asked myself, what does motherhood actually look like? Motherhood means there's diapers to change, mouths to feed, butts to wipe, toys to step on, pick up, clothes to be changed, shoes to be tied, boo-boos that need banding, teeth that need brushed, hair that needs done, hands that need to be held, seatbelts that need to be buckled, heartbreaks, drama, stitches, broken bones, hospital trips, healthcare needs to manage, brains to nourish, bodies to clothe and take care of, instructions that need to be given, lessons that need to be learned. You get the point. Motherhood is like being a personal assistant to a really spoiled movie star that can't do anything for themselves. You'll never get the credit you deserve. You'll never be recognized for all that you do behind the scenes. You're just there, doing it. It's daunting. It's heavy. It's motherhood. So, now that I've kind of laid that foundation, I began thinking about what motherhood has actually taught me and how it has changed me. And motherhood has taught me grace. Motherhood has given me joy. Has helped me grow in patience, love, and understanding. Motherhood has taught me how to see the world through another person's eyes. Talking about politics with my children. I mean, it's amazing to see through their eyes. Motherhood has taught me to recognize what real love is. It's given me an opportunity to stretch myself and to allow God to fill those places where I lack. Motherhood has given me friends in the form of little small human beings. It's taught me lessons in patience and humility. When I was thinking about these, I found it interesting how listing the daunting duties of motherhood didn't really invoke real emotion. That just kind of is. It's like matter of fact. But when I start thinking about the good that comes from motherhood, emotion wells up in me. Like the joy springs out. Like it's just unexplainable. Motherhood is an unexplainable gift. It's a gift to care for another human being, to be mindful of them, to be mindful that they're learning and gleaning from us, to be mindful that they're our responsibility. They're not pests under our feet, although we joke about that all the time. We joke about how, they're so annoying, blah, blah, blah. But my heart hurts when I do that. I think we need to be careful. Those thoughts, as funny as they are, I think they can kind of embed themselves into our hearts and grow like weeds. And those little thought weeds can eventually make us to actually see our children as burdens. They're our children. They're our responsibility, not our burdens. We need to be careful and be mindful of these kind of thoughts because they will undermine the work that God is trying to do in our children. A few years ago, my younger son was in this phase of life where he just totally drained the life force out of us, just constantly. Have you ever heard the story, if you've been around Sanctuary, long enough, you might hear Bishop Ed talk about the suckerfish people that like just suck you dry. Yeah, that was our son in this phase. He didn't know any better. He wasn't being mean or unruly. He's a sweet and kind child, but he just drained the energy from us. Anytime he would touch us or he's around or talking, and just like, I don't know, I can't explain how he did it. He didn't do it on purpose. But the ironic part is when he was in this phase of life where he needed, no matter what we did, would fill it. But he was trying to give. We're a very affectionate family. Physical affection is something a lot of the little Owens, that's their love language. So we're always giving hugs and loving and massages and just kissing faces. It's just physical affection is a big thing in our house. So my son was trying to mimic this, and he would want to give us back rubs. I don't know if you've ever received a back rub from somebody who's just taking energy, but it is exhausting and really irritating. It's like, imagine sandpaper. It's like, oh God, it was a hard time. So one day I was sitting at my desk working at home, and he came up behind me, rubbing my shoulders. He wanted to love on me. I'm his mama. And my gut reaction was, oh, like I felt my shoulders like curling away from him, disgusted, like, oh, don't touch me, stop doing that, oh, this is irritating. And then I heard in my heart God telling me, he said, allow him to love you in this way. That was like a kick in the gut. I'm like, God is asking me to allow my son to drain me, to take from me. Even like, God was asking me, like, okay, all right, God, I'm going to allow you to move in this way, because you're asking me to allow my son to express his love in this way, even though it totally drains me and does not bring me joy. Because I know God is only supposed to bring us joy. So when I changed my heart in this situation and began to let him massage my shoulders, it did not change the fact that his back rubs were still extremely irritating and exhausting. It didn't change it. But what changed was my position in it. While he was trying to love me, I tapped into my source, and I began praying during it. God, allow me to let him love me in this. God, you are in this. You love him. You are working in this. You are working through him. Move in this situation. Allow me, give me the grace to love my child in this manner, because that's what love is, right? So that went on for a few months, and then a change happened. He began pouring love into us. Like, it was just like, I can't remember if it was like gradual. I'm pretty sure it was just gradual. It became less irritating, and then all of a sudden it was like it was just love flowing from him. And there was times when he would touch me and I couldn't tell the difference between his hand and my husband's hand, because they both carried the same love and empathy, and they're both heavy because they have big, heavy hands. I was totally bewildered at the work God had done in my child, as well as the work he had done in me through that situation. I can't imagine with me here, if I would have, in that situation at the desk, said, oh, don't do that. You're not good at it. Stop. That doesn't feel good. You're not good at it. And that was the end of it. Like, what would I have undermined or undone in his life? Like, I would have undermined what God was trying to do in his life, and then in turn, what he was going to do through his life. Like, it humbled me to realize that God was at work in him even at such a young age. That God's working and he's moving. And so I remind myself of this all the time. When I want to be selfish, I have to remind myself, what am I undermining in this person's life by this attitude? And so my prayer most often is, God, give me the grace to move out of the way so you can move through me. I feel like I'm constantly in God's way. He's trying to use me, and I just get in the way all the time. So I gotta remember to get out of the way. So now, before you guys all assume I'm this amazing mother and I have these amazing faultless children, even though they are really good children, let me just set the record straight. 'Cause I know you guys are thinking that, but let me just set it straight. I've had some big time motherhood failures. Like, yeah. So, but we've all lived. We've overcome it. My kids are still alive. It's great. One story though. Early on in my parenting, I yelled a lot. And I was irritated or tired. Something wasn't done. The rooms weren't clean. I just yelled. Go do this. Hey, what are you doing? Like, not like violent. I wasn't violent. I just raised my voice a lot. And I mean, that's how I was raised. The motto was growing up, if you're not yelling at your children, they'll never know they did anything wrong. Thankfully, I grew as a person and decided that's not the parenting style I wanted to adopt. So I began to grow and I became kind and nurturing and non-yelling parent. Fast forward to who I am now, fun-loving, non-abrasive, who cares if it breaks type of person. Like, this is just fun, always happening in our house. That's probably a whole new story of where I am now today. But so one day I was joking with my now teenage children, and I was like, oh, this will be funny. I yelled, pretending they're in trouble. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I think I was actually yelling about something good, but my tone of voice, it was like, I can't remember, but I yelled something like, go get your dishes, or I can't remember, but it was a joke. The look of terror in my daughter's face, it broke me. I totally struck fear. I was trying to be funny, but I struck fear. And she told me she remembers being yelled at as a child. And I'm talking like, she's like itty bitty, 3 or 4 years old. She remembers, and that shaped her. And that scar, that wound is there, like it's in her. This is my teenage daughter that considers me her best friend. She has to tell me her entire day from start to finish. She can't really let a day go by without talking to me. She would spend hours just being with me. I hurt her. I created a bruise in her heart, to fear my voice. I don't like that. I don't want my kids to fear me. I've done the best I could to mend that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still there, and it happened. I take these things into account when I want to be upset with my children, mad at what they're doing or not doing, when they've lied to me, which they do lie to me. And they're amazing, like really, really cool kids, but they're still human, and they're not always going to align with my perfect will for them. But I have to remember that I'm trying to help cultivate something deeper in them, and that God would have me treat them the way He treats me. So what's the takeaway here? Glad you asked. I just want to encourage you that when it's hard to be a mother, that when you're struggling with patience, and they have tapped your last nerve, because we all know that happens, remember that God is at work in that little human, and He's at work in you, and you can trust Him in that. It may not always look pretty, and it will get messy. There will be mistakes, but there is also grace. Have grace on yourself. When you find yourself feeling angry, upset, irritated, frustrated, all the things motherhood brings, take a step back. Take a moment to gather yourself, gather your heart, your mind, and then come back to the situation when you can answer in love. Because ultimately, as a mother, that's all we ever want to do, is just love our children. Love well. Thank you, ladies, and I hope you stay safe during this season. Thank you for having me.